he had a crazy rant where he said some crazy remarks about gay people. He was spreading false information.
That was wrong. This joint goes deep. There's people from that community that have been killed. I think a lot of times these guys get in trouble because they want to keep going. At the end of the day, whether DaBaby likes it or not, he's an influencer. Just apologize and keep it going.
First topic on this episode is related to cancel culture, especially as it relates to hip hop, man. Like we've seen it. And by the way, I love this term, but I also hate it. If you're living under a rock, right? I have to say that because this is like the conversation that's dominating essentially America right now, at least American entertainment. DaBaby was recently at Rolling Loud as well as 500 other artists. But his is the one that got people talking because he had a crazy rant where he was trying to get the crowd involved. He said some crazy remarks about gay people. Actually, no. Let me back up. He said, if you don't have AIDS and HIV and all some of these other sexually transmitted diseases, put your lighter in the air. He said, yo, if you wasn't sucking dick in the parking lot, put your lighter in the air. Yo, he said some things that I guess offended people. And that has led him into hot water. And so let's have a conversation right now about a couple things, whether or not DaBaby was wrong, number one. Number two, how he's handled the situation since people have been down his, on his head these days. And then three, should he apologize? Q, what do you think?
First and foremost, let me say this. That was a very bizarre rant. I mean, I didn't get it. It wasn't a freestyle. It was bizarre. First and foremost, I want to say this. He was flat out wrong. I don't care how you dice it, cut it. That was wrong. There was no need for him to, talk about, HIV and AIDS. It was no need. There was no need for it. I mean, I don't think people realize that these people that are living with HIV, that's a serious disease. Like AIDS, that's kind of like a death sentence. And a lot of people, they got it because of stuff that they didn't do. It could have been, they were born with it. It could have been needles that were shared. It could have been a sexual relationship that was perfectly fine, but one of the partners happened to have it. I just don't agree with that. That's just not fair. Secondly, I did read his apology. That was another bizarre apology, I would say, where he did apologize to the HIV community, the AIDS community, but then he kind of halfway apologized to the LGBTQ. Sorry, I'm saying it wrong. To the gay community. Let me just say that gay and lesbian community. And then at the same time, he was kind of saying like, "You're not gonna stop me." Trying to bring a black man down, is not going to happen. So it was very bizarre, in my opinion. At the end of the day, I think, wrong is wrong, and we're entitled to be wrong. I think that, if DaBaby was misinformed, if DaBaby kind of was having a bad day and he went on a rant that was just, unreasonable, it happens. People have had bad days, but I just think that, sometimes you just got to apologize and keep it moving. I think that's what he should have did. I was in the heat of the moment. First thing that came to my mind was this: apologize, keep it moving. And I think a lot of times these guys get in trouble because they want to keep going. They want to keep, but y'all not going to bring me down. I'm too competitive. No, just apologize and keep it going.
Very, very mature of you, sir. Not that I have an issue with that, because that's kind of where I want to start too, like on a maturity tip, which is, I saw his remarks, I heard it, I watched the video, and I just kept asking myself, why did he say that? Like, what was the point? Like, what was he trying to achieve? And then also, did he see a dude in the parking lot sucking dick? Like it just seemed too like
confused.
specific. It
I'm
seemed too
confused.
specific. Like
Yeah,
I'm thinking like maybe
confused.
something happened earlier in the day, but regardless, you know how it is. The public has no context, including us. We have no context as to why he said what he said, and I know lack of context can really result in confusion, right? And so, regardless of any of that, the fact that we have no context, his comments were irresponsible. They were unnecessary, and he was spreading false information, to be honest with you, specifically about the the AIDS and HIV thing. Like he said specifically, yo, like if you don't have any of them diseases that make you die in 2 to 3 weeks, that's not true.
Insane. That's insane.
That's just not true. Like
insane. I don't care. Just be honest. Not even true. That's insensitive. It's wrong.
Insensitive. It's wrong. It's complete. He's not. There's nothing right about any of that. So we have to be very firm and say, like, yo, first and foremost, that's not true. Like, you need to go do some education if that's how you actually feel. But regardless of that, I think that the way DaBaby is moving is just it's kind of reckless in a way. Like nobody wants to really say this, but bro, what he is doing is no different than what Lil Nas X has been doing, which is kind of trolling in a way.
Like, no different? Nah, I mean, I wouldn't say no different.
It's
on the ain't hurting nobody. But sorry.
No, what I'm no. You're right, and I'm not talking about like I'm talking about like the response to controversy and how they're kind of using the fueling, like the energy of like the things that happen in real life, and then kind of like capitalizing off of it. That's really what I'm getting at, not like the hurtful shit that DaBaby is saying. You're right. That's important to note. But no, I'm just talking about like the trolling and the entertainment aspect. DaBaby is an entertainer, and I think what he's trying to do is double down on that fact. He's like, dude, like, why are y'all taking my words out of context? Like, I'm an entertainer. This is what DJs have been doing for years. They go to clubs and they say, yo, if your pussy smell like water, put your hands in the air. Like, people do that in the club, and it's ironic that they wanted to highlight that about DaBaby. I think he did make that point on like one of his IG lives or whatever. But the point is, regardless of the fact, he was wrong because them words was completely unnecessary to just be spreading false information, bro. Like, it's unnecessary. You're spreading false information. You're hurting an entire community of people who are affected by all types of shit. All for what? All for what? Just to say that you stand on your 2 feet and no weapon formed against you shall prosper, just so you can capitalize off it and make a music video in the height of all of the controversy. I think that DaBaby, he's already lost a couple deals, supposedly. There's some brand called Boohoo, man, which by the way, I never heard of, that he was in business with for clothes and stuff like that. And they came out and said, we're no longer working with DaBaby. We've seen artists that he's worked with, Dua Lipa, right? He got a couple pop songs with her. She came out and said, yo, like, this is not the artist that I recognize, and all of this other fucking political bullshit that, I'll be honest with you, I'm not rolling with.
Not necessarily a fan of that response by doing
I'm not rolling with it. I do think there is an element of people who are coming out of the woodworks who are taking a stand for maybe the wrong reasons and for political ties and political reasons. I think that's important to acknowledge. However, regardless of how people are responding, DaBaby was wrong. He was wrong. There's really no way to put that shit. Like, and I think he knows he's wrong. But I think the bottom line is he's trying to stand on his own 2 feet and say, listen, I am who I am. I don't have to like and agree with anything that these other communities do. Leave me alone. Like, we don't have to agree.
Well, I mean,
is that right or wrong? Like I want to have like a different convo about this cancel culture, not solely about what DaBaby said or how he's being kind of attacked for what he said, but more so about like, is it okay for there to be two different opinions, two different sides of the coin? Because we saw T.I. come out and really defend DaBaby. T.I. been gone since he's been accused of all of the shit that he's been accused of. I'm not gonna get into that. T.I. came out of the woodwork defending DaBaby. Lil Boosie came out. Lil Boosie's crazy. I want to acknowledge this. He came out of the woodwork, started attacking Lil Nas X and defending DaBaby, basically saying like, look, I don't have to be cool with the LGBTQ community and to basically agree with the lifestyle and how they view the world, why are y'all combating what you perceive as hate with hate? Why can't we just be on two separate sides of the fence and believe what the hell we want to believe without y'all feeling like we gotta basically take you guys' side? Is that right or wrong? I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to have a different combo with this. Like,
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Well, let me. The reason why that's wrong is because at the end of the day, whether DaBaby likes it or not, he's an influencer, and so your words influence how people perceive things, how people take in information.
yeah,
You spread misinformation to millions of people that were watching that Rolling Loud concert, right? Some people are young teenagers that now, because think about when you were in high school, right? What sometimes what a rapper said was kind of what the teenagers went with. They try to go with what they perceive as a cool people, what the cool people are saying, like no cap, no kizzy, like they may take a stance against HIV and AIDS people, not really understanding because they're so young, not really understanding the dynamics of what it really is. So I do think there's a responsibility as an influencer that DaBaby is
1000%.
to be very careful in situations like that.